Chris went to the supermarket to buy some ice cream. An attractive young woman named Sky asked him if he could help her to choose wine. It seems she is flirting with him. Steve introduced himself, and she smiled and went out. When Steve went out, he saw Sky. Her cab was cancelled, and he offered her a ride. She lives in a motel, tells him she had problems with her roommate. Chris offers her to be his guest. Finally, she agrees, and they go to his place, a beautiful big house. He tells her that he sold his tech company and retired. He offers her to stay, and they had a romantic, passionate night. The next day she leaves back to her room, where she meets Lisa, her roommate. Lisa is obsessed with her, saying she waits all night. In the evening, Steve goes into a bar where he surprisingly meets Sky, who works as a bartender, and tells her he is divorced. He waits for her, and on their way to the car, she tells him she has no family. When they get close to the car, he sees someone trying to break into his car. He tries to confront him, but he breaks his leg. Sky takes him home and promises to take care of him, and he offers for her to move there. When she is back to pack her stuff, she sees Lisa chatting with the motel manager Ronald that explains to Lisa that her relationship with Sky harmed her. Ronald tries to provoke Sky, but she laughs. When Lisa understands that Sky is living, she starts to cry, and they make love. Sky moves to Steve's house, helping him to recover. The following day Ronald knocks on Lisa's door, and since she doesn't answer, he enters to find she has committed suicide. When the police came, he told them that she had a roommate named Sky, but the policemen said they couldn't find any record of her. Later at Steve's house, Sky takes a shower, and Steve notices a photo of her with Lisa outcrop her bag. He tries to take it out, but the bag falls. Sky hears the noise and catches him. She laughs, saying that he can ask and she will let him see whatever he wants. Later, they have passionate sex. The following day, Steve watches the news and sees Lisa with the text says murder or suicide. He is shocked, wondering who she is. When she is back home, Steve tells Sky about it, and it doesn't seem to bother her. Steve tells her she should contact the police. Sky is saying it would be stupid to do so. When he asks why, she answers that she is the one that kills her. He is shocked, and she explains that Lisa had a good and a wrong side, but above all, she had the perfect room to watch Steve. She explained that she had watched him for the last 2 months. She knows everything about his life, and everything that happened was planned. He is so angry and tells her to get out, but she uses his phone to lock the house. When he tries to take it, she uses her taser to stop him. The next day Ronald enters to clean the room. He finds the binoculars, and he sees Steve's house. At Steve's house, Sky ties him to a wheelchair. She tells him that she is there for his money, and since he doesn't want corporate, she starts to beat and torture him. When Ronald watches Steve's house, he is surprised to see Sky. Steve gives her the password to one of his bank accounts, and she transfers his money, preparing him for a Zoom meeting with his brokers to get more. Ronald watches them understand something is happening there. Since Chris tries to resist again, she shows him his kids' photos, telling him that for the safety of his kids, he better cooperate. Meanwhile, Ronald finds out what is going on. He sees that Sky has left the house, and he is getting closer. Steve sees him on the screen and calls for help. Ronald breaks the window to get inside, which automatically sends a notification to Steve's mobile. Sky sees that and turns back. Meanwhile, Ronald is laughing at Steve, telling him that he was always curious about this house. Steve begs for help, but Ronald asks for $100,000. Finally he takes the Picasso picture and in return he removes out the tape off Chris, but it takes time. Sky is back, and Ronald tries to run away, but Sky uses the app to lock the doors. He runs to the second floor, but she is behind him watching every step of him. Finally she stabs him with a sword and kills him. Steve runs out of the house using his snow bike to run away, but he slips and almost run over by a car. He asks the driver for help, saying that a woman is trying to kill him. They call the police, but soon he realizes the policeman that talks with him is Sky. The driver is Sky's stepfather. Steve blames him for trying to steal his life, but he explains that it's more like bring it back. Sky tells Steve that she knows he has $40 million at the bank, but he tells her that she can't take it since she needs his fingerprint, and he is not going to go to the bank with them. They cut his finger. Outside we see his ex-wife Jamie with his daughter come to visit. She sees the broken glass and understands something has happened. Sky introduces herself as Chris's nurse, but Chris' ex's wife insists on seeing him. She take them to one of the room and lock them with Chris. Sky and Sebastian are on their way to the bank. Meanwhile, at the house, Chris suggests sending their daughter outside through the air-conditioned duct to release them. At the bank, they find a letter in the safe that says the money isn't there. At the same time, Jamie tells Steve that on advice from her attorney, she removed all the money from there to another safe just in case he would not support her. On their way back Sky and Sebastian see his daughter in the cam. They look for her, but Steve surprises them. Sebastian wants Sky to shoot Steve, but she prefers to kill Sebastian. Steve attacks her and runs away. He hides, calls SOS, and plays with her using the house app. He turns on loud music and turns the light off, finally surprising her, but she fights back. When she is about to kill him, Jamie attacks her. They fight until suddenly, their daughter comes from behind and shoots Sky. In the background, we hear the police. The film ends with Sky lying on the floor, telling Steve that her real name is Margaret, then she dies.